Good afternoon. As we hit 4 o'clock, today has already been the hottest day of the year in the Denver metro area.
You may not have felt it because some clouds rolled in, but we did get above 80 at the airport before 11 this morning. And while the day started out nice, at this hour, we're tracking the chance for severe storms.
Yeah, pretty busy radar system over there as the storms are moving and making their way onto the eastern plains again. Well, that's where it was yesterday. Today, businesses and families in Greeley are cleaning up after the massive hailstorm that hit last night. Sky 9 giving us these pictures from above. You can see the flooded streets and the cars, many stranded by the floodwaters. You can also see some large piles of hail still left over as of 7 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, it was really bad out there. This is what it looked like last night. Nia sent us this just before 10 last night. It came in between that 9:30, 10 o'clock hour. Large amount of hail, and it wasn't small. It was kind of big. It was close to ping ball size. This storm just parked over Greeley, and it just stuck around for a few hours. Tonight we have team coverage of the damage and the cleanup. Lauren spent the day, Lauren Scafidi in Greeley, talking with people whose homes were impacted.
Yeah, we're also going to have some live looks as well. Our team of meteorologists, including Corey Repenigan and Chris Bianchi, tracking storm chances for tonight. We're going to get to Chris's forecast and more on Greeley in just a minute. But first, we want to take a look at Corey's live shot. Corey is out in Elbert County. He is making his way towards Agate. And as you can see, those are, again, very intense skies, as was the case yesterday. And again, Kim, something we were talking about was the timing of these storms. We've been seeing the storms hitting hard at night. Yeah,
and I think that adds to the fear factor. You can't see what's happening, and they build up during the day, and it gets pretty scary out there. And in this case, this one stuck around, caused a lot of damage. We're going to keep a close eye on Greeley. We're going to tell you all about what happened there, but we want to get to Chris Bianchi right about in the present about what we should be worried about this afternoon and tonight as well.
Kim and Tom, I do have a little bit of good news, and you could see it in that shot just a second ago. You might, if you'd been paying attention, you might have noticed there was a whole lot of dry air in the bottom layer of the atmosphere there. Those clouds, they were big and dark and kind of mean looking, but they were what we call elevated. They were way up there. So at the surface, we're lacking moisture in the Denver metro area and points close to it. So that will probably keep things in check for the most part in the metro area for the rest of the evening. That said, the eastern plains up to ping pong ball sized hail and damaging 70-mile-an-hour winds likely as we head over the next few hours. So we've got that severe thunderstorm watch, and we actually do have a few severe thunderstorm warnings for us here in the southeastern plains out by Bent as well as Kiowa counties. But for the most part, these storms right now, Fort Morgan on east are behaving themselves. So along I-76, I-70, some gusty winds, 40, 50 miles an hour, some small hail, maybe up to the size of a nickel, perhaps getting close to quarter-size hail within the very intense, the most intense portions of those storms. But for the most part, these storms are not as bad as the ones that we saw yesterday across the southeast plains, as well as the one up by Greeley. These storms will push east. Those strongest storms will be on the eastern plains. As these storms move east, they will move into more moisture, and they will have a better environment to strengthen. So we'll be tracking those storms as we head through the rest of the evening. Got another chance for storms tomorrow and our first 90-degree day of the year, very likely this weekend. Details on all of it in my full forecast.
All right, Chris, we'll be checking in, of course. We want to get back out to Greeley, where there was quite the light show last night, not to mention all the hail that fell. Many people left to deal with the damage today left behind by the storms.
Yeah, you get up in the morning when daylight and say, this is what we're dealing with, right? The manager of the Meadow Village Mobile Home Park says several homes and yards were damaged. That's on East 20th Street, right near Highway 85. 9 News reporter Lauren Scafidi has been there all morning as people clean up. And Lauren, it sounds like the mobile home park saw a lot of hail and a lot of damage.
They sure did. I mean, let's just talk about standing water. This is how much standing water they had here. It came up to this line here right on the side. And if we head around the corner, take a look at these holes here in the bottom. These holes are from hail pounding into it. But this is all just the start of what cleanup is going to look like here today.
I used to have a nice yard. Swear.
From the outside, it's almost unrecognizable.
To me, it just looks like a tornado or war zone. I can't describe it because my lilac bushes were all full. All this was irises in bloom. It was beautiful.
In the 30 years she's lived in Meadow Village Mobile Home Park,
I lost a lot.
Linda Pelton has never seen damage like this.
Can you believe that?
She was awake through the storm in Greeley overnight.
And I kept thinking, quit already, because I was taking photos and the hail was this big.
But it still feels like she's living a nightmare.
So here, that was almost like 6 inches. I did not open my shed yet to see if it got in there.
Cleanup starts now for Linda.
The exhaust fan and the light, it came down. Right there.
And her neighbors.
Like somebody just took a machine gun and just ripped up everybody's trailers. All that's from the hail.
She couldn't get to her car this morning for her 10 o'clock appointment.
I couldn't come out here. I was like, what do I do? Stand over here and jump in? Hit my head in the process? Look at the flooding still.
It's hard to wrap her head around the damage on the outside.
There's another pot full of, water.
But the feeling is even worse on the inside.
I'm truly depressed. And I'm sad and I'm still in shock. I don't know how anybody's gonna, cover all the repairs.
The sun has dried up a lot, but these puddles are still pretty much everywhere around here. Now, you are asked to go online and report any damage that you have so the city and county can keep track of all of that. The city says that they've done 25 damage assessments so far, and 11% of those had major damage. If you do need a place to go, the city did set up a temporary shelter at the Family Funplex. Live in Greeley, Lauren Scafidi, 9 News.
Wow, Lauren, on a hot day like this, I look behind you and just see all that water. That's still a lot that
everywhere.
Needs to go away.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And we want to see what it looks like in your area. We know we can't get every single place. If you have storm damage or pictures, you can upload these to our free 9 News app. You can also view weather updates throughout the evening. Helps us tell that weather story. The city of Greeley is currently working on building a new underground storm drain system, which would help.
The plan, of course, is to prevent flooding like they did see last night in the downtown area. Phase 1 of the project is actually happening now on 10th Street near the Poudre River. This phase involves infrastructure, river restoration, and an extension of the Poudre Trail. It's supposed to be done this summer. Then phases 2 through 4 will continue along 12th Street in downtown Greeley. Construction for those phases is expected to last until 2027.
The pro-Palestinian encampment on the DU campus is gone. Student protesters had been on campus since May 9th. Today, the area was empty when our crew stopped by. There are new signs up that say the area is closed as turf restoration is in process. Protesters were calling on the university to divest from interests supporting Israel, among other demands. The two sides met recently, but in a statement to 9 News today, DU said the encampment disbanded on its own, and the two sides never came to any kind of agreement. The jury of 7 men and 5 women will and have started to deliberate the fate of former President Trump.
They got their jury instructions this morning from Judge Juan Merchan. They've already now gone home for the day, but before they left, the jury did have some questions for the judge. Let's get the latest now from NBC's Jay Gray in New York.
Good evening. After about 4.5 hours of deliberations in this high-profile case here at the criminal courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the jury has now gone home for the day. Jurors went behind closed doors around 11:30 this morning and remained behind closed doors for a majority of that time, but signaled that they had a couple of questions for the judge in this case. They first asked if they could have some testimony reread, specifically testimony from both the first and last witnesses in this case. The first question surrounded National Enquirer publisher David Pecker's testimony. They wanted to hear testimony about a phone conversation with the former President Donald Trump during an investors meeting. They wanted to hear his testimony regarding Karen McDougal, and they wanted to hear his testimony about a meeting in Trump Tower. The fourth question was about the testimony from the key witness for the prosecution, the former attorney and right-hand man for Donald Trump, Michael Cohen. And again, they wanted to know about his meeting in Trump Tower. That was followed just moments later by another question surrounding the jury instructions that Judge Juan Marchand gave the jury this morning before they went into deliberations. Now, those instructions lasted about an hour. It's not clear if they want the entire instructions reread or just a portion of those instructions. What the judge says is, we'll do all of that, but we'll do it in the morning, go home for the day. During the deliberations, the former president must remain not in the courtroom, but in the courthouse. And so he was at the courthouse the entire time. Of course, he has voiced his displeasure with this trial repeatedly today, saying that the trial is, quote, rigged, a disgrace, and politically motivated, also criticizing Judge Marchand, saying at one point it was because of his instructions to the jury that, and I'm quoting again here, even Mother Teresa couldn't beat these charges. The jury, again, going home for the evening. They'll be back in the morning at 9:30. The judge says they can deliberate until 6 o'clock at the latest, so they'll get back to work here. And that work will begin with a rereading of that testimony we talked about, as well as part of the instructions, or perhaps all of the instructions, which would, again, take about an hour. That's what happened here today. That's the latest here in Lower Manhattan. I'm Jay Gray. Now back to you.
Thank you very much, Jay. Much more coming up on the trial in New York City tonight, and nightly news at 5:30.